Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Daily Coffee Pro. Today is episode 22 and it's titled, Sometimes You'll Have to Walk Away. Today we are going to talk about the idea of saying no, sometimes being the most important thing that you can do. And I firmly believe that your path is defined by the things that you say no to as much as it is defined by the things that you say yes to. And I recently had to experience this in a very real way. A deal that I've been working on for Elixir for over 7 months that was going to be a huge game changer for our business. And we'd been talking about it. It was pretty much a done deal. We'd been talking about it on the podcast. Super excited to have been able to talk about it publicly with everyone. And at the 11th hour, I had to kill the deal. And, I had mixed feelings about it. I was super proud of myself for being able to say no. And I was gutted at the same time that I had put so much work into this. And everything seemed that it was right on track. It was so the 11th hour with this. And I just couldn't go ahead with it. And the consequences of that are vast. I have the luxury of having been in this situation a few times before, particularly with my music career, having had to say no to record deals because either something just didn't seem right, or I just wasn't getting the right gut feel. The people that I was doing the deal with, I wasn't convinced that they had my best interests at heart as an artist. Or I would ask for things like an audit clause to be put in the contract with my record label, and they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't let an independent auditor come in and audit my books with a label. And these were all major labels that these conversations were had with, and I really did learn how to walk away from things and really sit in the pain of that. It's not easy, especially when there are things like massive amounts of money involved, huge amounts of opportunity with regards to marketing deals and endorsement deals and things like that. The potentiality for all of that, you've got to walk away from it. And it sucks. But it sucks less when you understand the reason why you're doing it. And this doesn't just apply to record deals or to business deals. This applies to toxic work relationships. If you're in a work environment where you're being treated like shit from someone, whether it be an employee or an employer, if your employer is treating you like shit and you're convinced that you've done everything to try and resolve that situation, but you really love the job, you love the workplace that you're in because you love your customers, or you're learning a lot from your other co-workers, and it's just the shitty boss that's the pain in the ass, but because they're not there every day, it's kind of bearable. Sometimes you just have to make the decision to walk away. And how do you digest the consequences of that? Because the consequences are real. I was talking with a friend today about the idea that, he in his business has been working on a deal recently where, it took him, 4 months he was working on it, and it was going to really build on some of the dreams that he had for building his business. And you go through that process about fantasizing. The weird stuff. You fantasize about all the hard work that's about to be ahead of you. And people like us, entrepreneurs, we're excited about that challenge. You fantasize about how to make decisions when shit gets hard, when deals close. You fantasize about the potential positive outcomes for you and for your employees. And for how much further it's going to push you down the road into your map, being in the path that you're looking to take. The consequences of that are that you've got to dial that back. You know, I'm not someone that typically lets myself get excited about something before I know it's going to be a sure thing. And it's because of this reason. I've been excited about things before we've signed on the dotted line and they haven't gone through. And you've got to eat humble pie by just with yourself being and not feeling like a failure because you weren't able to make things happen the way that you really hoped or that you'd fantasize that they would take place. And especially when these things aren't in your own hands. And we've all got those people around us that are either rooting for our success or are going to be turning around and saying to us, I knew that one wasn't going to happen. I knew all along that that wasn't going to happen. You know, that's the consequences of daring to be bold enough to try new things and go after bigger deals and step out of your comfort zone and do the scary shit, you know, do the hard shit. There are positive consequences to this, and having those people identified in your life is one of them. You don't want people around you who aren't going to say to you if they see red flags. You want people around you who are going to see those red flags and tell you about them. You don't want people around you who are going to wait till the deal falls over and then comes and says to you, oh, I knew that wasn't going to happen in the first place. Motherfucker, you watched me put 7 months into my life of this deal and you're telling me at the 11th hour? So that's one consequence of it that you have to deal with. Another consequence of walking away, whether it's from a deal or a toxic job, is the idea that you feel like some sort of a failure. And I'm here to tell you that you're not. You really aren't. Everything in business is about the journey. Everything in your career is about the journey. And I mention this a lot. Get comfortable with the discomfort if you're someone who's daring enough to do the hard shit. The whole ride is uncomfortable. The moment it gets comfortable, you know you're not actually in the position of doing the hard shit anymore and you're not growing. And from where I'm sitting as an entrepreneur, as someone who's hugely passionate about the community that we're in, the specialty coffee community, I'm hugely passionate about the business community and the things that we could really do to better the situation for the supply chain. I want to be doing the hard shit all the time, and I need to be in the discomfort of this journey in order to do that. Being there means that I have to celebrate the courage that is required to do that. And it can sometimes be a hard pill to swallow because sometimes you just feel like you need a break. Sometimes you just want it to be easy. But there are those of us who have chosen not to have the easy ride. And for those of you who are feeling like it's been one blow after the other, and I know a lot of you have reached out to me about this, I want you to know that you're not fucking up. You're not a loser. You're not a failure. You're not any of those things. You're the person who is daring to back themselves. You're the person who is daring enough to say, I deserve to be in a healthy work environment. I deserve to walk away from a job where I'm getting treated like shit. I deserve to walk away from a deal that doesn't pose as a win for me as well as for the other party. I deserve to have employees who have my back because I have their back. These things happen to people who dare to stick to their integrity levels, who dare to be true to themselves. I, for one, salute you. If you're someone who dares to do the hard shit, I feel you. I know what that feels like. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. We have to look after each other better. We have to celebrate each other more. We have to stop trying to fuck each other over. We have to start looking after what we have by encouraging each other, by showing empathy towards each other, by backing each other when we see someone that's going to do something hard and going for a job or a business opportunity or a growth opportunity. Even if that person's your competitor, it doesn't hurt you to just encourage them. By you having people who are healthy competitors for you, your journey is that much more elevated. I invite everybody who's listening to this to ponder the idea, how can I elevate my experience in this industry by bringing compassion and empathy to my exchanges? And how can I elevate my industry's experience of me by having more integrity? Peace, love, and peanut butter, everyone.